Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, Podcast Pete, and certified lifestyle coach. We want you to play the right game. If you're playing in the local sandbox, you're playing in a small sandbox, and there's a bigger one out there. It's the Global Sandbox. I'm going to show you a few things that you can, if you can shift your mindset to understanding that we're playing in a global sandbox now. And you can give people a reason to go on a journey with you, to know, like, and trust you. You have an opportunity to play in a sandbox where there's 5,000 to over 1 billion people. But you got to know the strategy. I want to give you some information today, and I will give you a chance to schedule a clarity session. Because if you're not clear about your future, any distraction will take you off key. Any distraction. And if your goals are there, but your systems aren't supporting what you're doing, you're going to get stuck. And when you get stuck, you play in the local sandbox. Okay. Now, the number one thing that we all want to do, well, let me go back here just to give you a little bit bigger. Okay. Most experts are playing in the wrong sandbox. See the local sandbox? It's a box. There's 140 people that know, like, and trust you. You're familiar with them. If they're in a crowd, you can spot them. It's that way the brain works. It can't take in all this information. That's why there's filters, there's blocks to it. But there's a way around it if you do it like we're going to share with you. Okay, the number one thing that you want to keep focused on is demand. Let me say it again, demand, which is just leads. Without demand, you don't have a business. You have a hobby, or you have a business that's about to go out of business. Most get focused on the supply side. Too much supply, no demand. That's a recipe for failure. High demand, lower supply. Now you pick and select the people you want to work with, have a enjoyable time. Then you have to have massive demand. And we're going to show you how you can get demand. Stay with me. There's a gift, because once you join our Skool community, and you can just go to, let me see if I can put this. Hold on here. There we go. Go to pk.me/Skool. There's a gift for you in there. But let's get started, because I want to show you systems and processes and a simple 10-minute routine that can get you from stuck to scale. Stuck to scale. And when you start scaling to the global sandbox, where there's 5,000 to 1 billion, and you can give them a reason to go on a journey with you, to know, like, and trust, your whole world will open up. You'll create massive demand. And you won't have to play the algorithms. You won't have to do you won't be subject to the noise out there, because you'll become a key person of influence online. Search your name, then search my name. I don't have a middle initial that I go by, so just put the word podcast, Pete Kane Podcast. See what content is out there. See what kind of profile we've created. And there's plenty out there to get to know, like, and trust. Now, you may not like me. You may not trust me, but that's your decision. But there's certainly enough for you to go on a journey with me. Okay. All right. Let me take this off, and then I'm going to put up a few slides here. There we go. Hold on here. I'm at the end. Hold on. Oops. Keep going. Sorry about that. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, let me make sure I've got this right and we'll begin. Yes. Okay. The architect of impact. We can also say the architect of demand, because if you know how to create that demand, how to create impact in your business, you're going to have a vibrant, you're going to have a bright future. Why ambitious people must abandon goals and build systems to scale. Systems. Hold on here. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fail to the level of your systems. Every goal relies on a future. Every goal relies on a future perfect version of you. Systems shape who you are today, quietly rewiring your behavior even when motivation disappears. Motivation is an emotion. Identity is your baseline. Look at a goal. I want to be highly productive. That's your goal. Look at your identity. I am someone who starts my day with structure. That's frictionless and small. And that's what you want to do. Motivation is temporary and fragile. Lasting change only happens when your daily actions cast a vote for the person you are becoming. Look at the picture on the screen. You are here on the left side. Your daily systems are the bridge who you want to be, your future self. So your systems provide the bridge to get there. Okay. Emotions follow actions, not the reverse. Waiting for clarity or motivation is a trap. Action reduces anxiety because it forces the brain out of an abstract and into the present. You understand direction by moving forward, moving towards it. So when you don't have action, you won't have any results. So starting off with a small frictionless activity, task, gets things going. And I'm going to show you how it works. The neuroscience of the micro win. Self-trust is a muscle built through repetition. Every small completed task releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter of anticipation and desire. Your brain learns to crave progress instead of avoidance. So when you look at an action completed, you get a dopamine release. That does a reinforcement in your brain, builds self-trust in you because you're reinforcing that brain. You're wiring your brain. And I was able to experience this after a stroke when I had to rewire my brain, new activities, more time. When I get up in the morning, I drink the water. That's easy to do. It hydrates the brain. Then I think. Then I read, learn, and then with that, I'll journal. And after I journal, I plan and I implement. Every day, I just have that regular routine. Starts easy, starts slow, freaking. I don't say, man, I have all these things I got to do. If they're big things to do, you won't do them. Your brain will resist. That's why start small, get some momentum. The 10-minute daily engine. We're going to talk about this. I'll go through each one, but to change your identity, you need a frictionless daily engine. 5 micro actions, 10 minutes total. We all have 24 hours. How we spend them is different. What do you prioritize? What are you doing with your 24 hours? And now we're just talking about 10 minutes. We're going to talk about 2 minutes to cleanse. There's a process for that. Momentum is 2 minutes. Discomfort's going to be a minute. What we call ship messy, and we'll talk about that in a second. And the one domino effect, which is about 3 minutes. Okay, the first one. The 2-minute mental cleanse. Your brain treats starting as the hardest part. Overcoming Newton's first law of inertia by getting the mental static out of your head and onto paper. Close the open loop. We have between 12 and 60,000 thoughts. How the heck can you state anything? There's not any clarity with all that going around. Most of it's replaying the past, which you can't change anyway. Past is done. You can only influence the future. So if you just spend 2 minutes writing, write your thoughts out, get your thoughts out of here, you start activating something simple to do, but gets clarity from you writing it out. And in writing rewires your brain. Writing rewires your brain. That's why we have a course, Journaling for Personal Growth, because personal growth is personal freedom. And when you look at an activity of getting stuff that's in here out on paper, it rewires your brain. You get clarity, you get energy, you get courage, you get productivity and influence by just doing an activity like 2 minutes. There's a thing, doing small 1% improvements. This improvement alone can set you free. I have over 17 journals since my stroke. Before, I probably never did one. I wrote a few things every once in a while, but it was always when I was in a tough spot. And I heard, journal, be grateful. Now, one little activity is not going to get it done. You have to be repetitious about it. And I didn't, but now I am. Okay. Step 2, the momentum multiplier. Jerry Steinfeld built a $1 billion empire by writing just one joke every day. Stop looking at the 5-year micro goal. Pick one specific, realistic, time-bound micro win and execute it. He did it over 20 years. He's worth over $1 billion. The syndication is worth $7 billion. So when you look at one specific micro win, could be that writing for 2 minutes. Or when you look at step 3, the discomfort challenge. Mel Robbins does this, the 5-second rule. When you look at something, go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start. Because the more you're starting, you're getting momentum. When resistance hits, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then immediately take the smallest action possible, pushing into the pain. There's nothing meaningful accomplished in your comfort zone. You're going to have to learn how to be uncomfortable. And to do it, 5, 4, 3, 1, start. And when you start, you get momentum. When you start, you get unstuck. The 4th, the ship messy protocol. This, a lot of people use this, but Jeff Bezos always said, we never had more than 70% of what we needed to move forward. Because if you wait till you have 90 or 100, you're going to be too late. If you launch too early, maybe 40%, it's going to be messy. It may not be what you want, but get to 70%, then release. Perfection is analysis paralysis. Define your minimal viable value, launch it with the disclaimer, and reiterate based on your feedback. You get feedback Put it out there and then get feedback. Make it better. Put it out there and then get feedback. The quicker you can get to 70% and release it and get that feedback, the faster you're going to go. So avoid waiting till it's perfect. My perfectionist out there, hey, get it started, get it to 70% and go, and then get the feedback. The fifth one is the one domino decision, 3 minutes. Identifying a single most important action that tips the future in your favor today. Stack this 1% improvement daily, and you'll be 37% better in a year. Jeff Olson has the book, The Slight Edge. Same concept. Get 1% better. Get 1% better. What is that domino that you could push over that will help create a domino effect that'll create the second, third, fourth? But it starts with one. So what is that single task, single thing you can do at this moment to start that domino effect? Now, here's where we were talking about the local sandbox versus the global sandbox. Everything is about demand. If you're playing in the local sandbox, the brain knows about 140 people that it knows, likes, and trusts. That's like you have a crowd of 100 people, and you see one person that you know, like, and trust, and that person stands out because the brain is familiar. You buy a red car. Now you see red cars all over the place because the brain blocks out all the noise. If it didn't, your brain would explode. So it has this built-in barrier. And that's why when you have 140 people that you know, like, and trust, you're in that local sandbox. But I want to share with you a way that you can play in a global sandbox, because yes, 140 people that know, like, and trust you locally, local sandbox. However, when you are frantically hustling, it doesn't scale. You have to simplify. Simplify will scale. What happens when you apply manual process to massive ambition, you break the 140 person model, collapses under the weight of larger numbers. If you have to learn all these people locally, you'll never do it because everything will just come crashing down. However, now if you go into the global sandbox, stepping into the global sandbox is simply stepping in to the online world. And when you step onto the online world, you now are playing a different game, because between 5,000 and over 1 billion people can start on the journey with you, can start creating demand. So you have hundreds and even thousands of people that are on different parts of the journey because they're getting to know, like, and trust you. They do it through 7 hours of getting to know you, making 11 interest signals or buying signals, and they see you on 4 different platforms. The brain just switches. That's why when Steve Jobs passed away, thousands and thousands of people, they knew him through his personality, through his products, the transformation that he made in people's lives. They were mourning like they lost a brother. That's because they knew him so well. And that's what you have to do, taking people on a global journey. Play in the global sandbox. And when you play in the global sandbox, you're playing a whole different game. The demand for getting to know, like, and trust you grows, because when you create a podcast, create a video like this, have a workbook, have a webinar, you're giving people reasons to get to know, like, and trust you. And when you do that, and they see you on 4 different platforms, the brain just switches, just like it did with Steve Jobs. Hundreds of thousands of people were mourning. They never knew him personally, but they knew him through his online personality. They knew him like he was a brother because they had gone on a journey with him. They had consumed well over 7 hours, had made a lot of buying signals, bought iPads, iPhones, all the different things that he came out with, Macs, that this is on, because people were interested in him and they saw him on 4 different platforms. Know, like, and trust, the shift. Okay, that's your opportunity. That is your opportunity. Now, systems are the architecture for scalable trust. Setting up systems, that's what we do for our clients. We set up those systems. Join our Skool community so you can experience it and you know the opportunity of playing a game, having fun in the global sandbox, because you don't have to worry about algorithms and all the complicated stuff out there. Just give people an opportunity to get to know, like, and trust. Have a process, a system for doing that. You can do it on your own, take a lot longer, or you can partner with us and we can help you. So when you ship messy at 70%, focus on one domino, let your identity drive your actions, your systems become your broadcast. The world does not trust your intention. The world trusts your repetition. These videos, podcasts we create, workshop, the book that's coming out in May, all those are intended to give people an opportunity to go on a journey, to be able to get to know you, possibly like you, and trust you. And when that happens, that's where you go from 5,000 to over 1 billion. You create massive demand. So let me say, stop hoping for a better future. Build your identity. Build your profile. Build you online. Give people an opportunity to get to know you, like you, and trust you. You can go to right above here. You can scan that and schedule a clarity session. It's free, and we'll help you get clear about your future. And join our community at, let me just see here. Hold on here. Go to pkane.me/Skool. You get a free gift. You can select High Performance Habits Mastery. That's clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. And then the second phase is the mastery part of persuasion, psychology, persuasion, purpose, persuasion, productivity, mastery. And when you can improve your skills, the business won't grow beyond your ability to grow. Work on yourself personally. Your business will grow when you work on yourself. We talk about the 6 time freedoms. Time, the most important one. You have 24 hours. I have 24 hours. How I use it is different than with how you use it, I'm pretty sure. I use 5-hour blocks, and I do specific things in these blocks. So I get 3 days in one, where most are getting 1. So if that's of interest to you, share this. Like our channel, we are going to be able to give you information like this to make a difference in your life. When you're playing in that local sandbox, come on over to the global sandbox. It's a bigger sandbox because there's a lot more people that can be creating demand for you. So book a clarity session right up above there and join us. Get clear on your future, because the future is bright. It's an abundant future if you play in the right sandbox. I'm Pete Kane.